Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice the radio, and in Scarlet and Violet EX, so sets that have been revealed over in Japan, there are a bunch of what I'm calling game-changing cards. Cards that are genuinely, legitimately good. Some of them you're going to see a lot for their abilities. Some of them are legitimate single-price deck options. There are some really, really good cards in this. So we're going to have roundup videos where we look at a bunch of cards, some which are good, some of which are not. Hopefully you can believe me when I say, in this video, we are only talking about cards that are really, really, really good. Like, really good. Okay? Cool. So let's start off with one that I am very excited about on a very personal level. It's Squavit! Now, I believe, and I might be wrong about this, I believe the Squavit is the only Haiganosuke card we actually have in Scarlet and Violet. I've not exhaustively gone through every single pre-evolution, but I believe it is the only Haiganosuke card. And I've got to give a little bit of a shout out, because Haiganosuke has actually done a Greedent card as well. So now you can have both. The Greedent isn't particularly great. It's the one from Chilling Reign that says energy attached to your Pokemon cannot be removed, essentially, by item or supporter cards. But still, we've now got both of them by Haiganosuke. What does this new one do? Translations from myself and the lovely Antoine Boulet. We like Antoine. Antoine is a very awesome person. And basically, it says the basic Pokemon, that's really important. Once during your turn, you may shuffle your hand into your deck and draw one card. That's it. You get one card. But you know what? There's like a billion different decks that are going to absolutely love this. Also, just to be clear, your hand goes to the bottom of your deck. Huge change. It means you cannot redraw the cards you just shuffled in. Imagine combining this with Bibarel from Brilliant Stars, for instance. So you've got a handful of stuff you don't want. Shuffle your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck. Draw a single card, maybe you play it, maybe you don't, then you use Bibarel to draw till you got 5 cards in your hand. That's going to be pretty good. Or how about things like Asui and Arcanine? That is really good, but you've got to have an empty hand in order to use it. You need to be emptying out your hand. How do you empty out your hand? This, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you empty out your hand. And I could keep going, but I think you get the point here. Anything which draws until you have a certain number of cards in your hand, anything that wants you to have a low hand size, this is an amazing card. As a basic Pokemon, it is nuts. I can certainly see this fitting into a whole bunch of decks. This one is very, very, very good. Now, Klefki is one that a lot of people are getting very excited about for very good reasons. It's not the attack that does 10 damage, but before dealing damage, you discard any Pokemon tools. No, it's the ability that says, as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, basic Pokemon in play have no abilities, excluding any other Klefki. The thing is, just like I said with Squavit a minute ago, this is a basic Pokemon. And being a basic Pokemon is a huge deal, ladies and gentlemen, because that means that you can get it going turn 1. Not only can you get it going turn 1, you can get it turn 1 going first. And getting it going turn 1 going first is a very, very, very big deal indeed. I am a huge fan of this card. I know an awful lot of people out there are huge fans of this card. Being able to turn off all abilities of basic Pokemon, which are generally draw abilities. I mean, your opponent is trying to use that comfy engine, and a lot of people try using that comfy engine. Yeah, that doesn't work. And this is a single prize Pokemon, so it means that your opponent cannot just play down a path to the peak in an attempt to turn off this ability. And sure, they can play an escape rope, but if you get 2 Klefki down, that escape rope ain't gonna do nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe your opponent's trying to draw cards with Snorlax, as an example. I could keep going, there's so many examples. Just go and have a look at all the good decks around at the moment, and then realize quite how many of them rely on using basic Pokemon to get set up in the early game. And then, of course, you've got stuff like, obviously, Regigigas. This just, laughs right, directly into Regigigas' face. And this is just amazing. This is a great card. And sure, it's not a good attacker, so you're not really going to play the whole game with this. You're going to have to, use it to buy some time and then get rolling from there. But oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a card that is going to buy you some time, this is going to buy it absolutely beautifully. Now, Houndstone is one that I personally have been waiting for, and it's here, and it is exactly what I wanted, and it is amazing. For 2 Psychic Energy, you do 80 damage, plus 10 more damage for each Psychic Pokemon in your discard pile. Now, I showed you the Graver the other day that does 10 damage for each Psychic Pokemon in your discard pile. This is that plus 80 damage. I liked it when it was just the Graver that I was using as a basic. Now that we got Houndstone that can use it as a stage 1 with 80 more damage, yes. All of the yes. And bearing in mind, there will be plenty of times here that you can go and get a KO just with this, just with the basic. There are going to be a load of times you don't even need to do the evolution into the stage 1. Just the basic alone will do the trick. It's just, I'm so in love with this card, ladies and gentlemen. I am so in love with this card. I cannot promise you that this is going to be an amazing deck that is going to take the Pokemon TCG world by storm, but I absolutely can promise you that I'm going to test this deck within an inch of its life because I am legitimately excited about this deck. It's right up my alley. This is exactly my kind of deck. I've done very well with decks like this in the past. So you're giving me a new one here, but now it's on a single basic energy, or I've got a bigger version of it if I want to go nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it for me. Like, when I'm thinking about exciting Pokemon decks, this is the kind of thing I am often picturing. I love it. As a Pokemon, Houndstone is not one of the ones from Gen 9 I'm absolutely in love with. As a card... I love this. I absolutely love this. Now, Annihilape is getting a lot of love from Gen 9 as one of those really cool Pokemon. And certainly I know it's doing well over in VG. Well, we've got a card for that, and this one is good as well. It's not the 2 energy 170 do 50 to itself, although incidentally, that's not terrible. Like, as an early game attack, because you got nothing else going on, turn 2, have a second energy, you're good to go. Do bear in mind, this is Annihilape, so it is a stage 2. Mankey, Primeape, Annihilape, sorry. So you have got to go all the way up to a stage 2 here, which is a little bit sad, and for that I apologise. But, you know what? It's not all that bad, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a really good attack here as well. For a single fighting energy, this attack does 20 damage for each prize card your opponent has already taken. This isn't an early game Pokemon. You've got a few turns to get this one rolling. Because if your opponent's taken 2 prizes, you're doing 140, nobody really cares. But if they've taken 4 prizes, you're doing 280 and you're one-hit KOing Pokemon V-Stars, yes. They've taken 5 prizes and you're about to lose the game, but you're doing 350 and you're getting KOs on Stage 2 Pokemon EX. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that will do very, 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 very nicely indeed. I legitimately like this. It is a Stage 2, and the fact that it's a Stage 2... maybe it's going to stop it seeing that much play, but we do seem to, especially with all the new EXs, etc., we do seem to be moving into a format where Stage 2s are played a lot more, where they're a lot more viable, and if that is the case, this Annihilape is one to look out for. Now, a Pokemon that I was waiting to see how it fared in the TCG, and I know a bunch of you were as well, is Maushold. Also, as far as names go, it's a mouse household called Maushold. That's just beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. And it's got an attack for 1 energy that does 40, nobody cares. 2 energy, 70 damage for each of your Maushold in play. Which for 2 colourless energy, which is 280 damage. Also, whoever decided Oshiyama should be drawing this, can you imagine a more perfect pairing of artist and Pokemon than Maushold and Oshiyama? It's perfect. Basically, the deal here is 2 energy, 280 damage. That's great. The problem is, like so many of these decks in the past, you are going to have to keep replenishing these, and we've got 2 different Tandemaus, and that is the deal, incidentally. We've seen this so far. When they're giving us a Gen 9 Pokemon, they're giving us 2 of the pre-evolutions, which I do very much appreciate. But here they've both got garbage HP. Like there's a 30 HP and a 40 HP. No. The 40 HP, if anyone's wondering, it's flip 2 coins, 30 for each head. It's not particularly good. So my point here is super weak, and the fact that Twin Energy is rotating out really hurts. But the fact that I can do 280 of a single prize Pokemon, I'm still probably, for me personally, I'm still testing Houndstone before I'm testing this. But this is still a very, very cool deck, and there is a lot of potential here. Now, there are a couple of others we do need to have a little bit of a chat about. One that I could see seeing an awful lot of play is Revavroom. Now, this is a Stage 1 Pokemon, and 4 energy, 90 damage, 180 if you can flip a heads. No, that's terrible. But the ability. Once during your turn, you may discard 1 energy card from your hand. If you do, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. It is redonk. And look, I know we've already got Bibarel, and I know that Bibarel will just draw until you got 5 cards in your hand and you don't have to do anything. Look, we've all been there. How many games have you lost? And then looked at the top card of the deck, and the next card was that 1 card you needed to draw. And if you'd have drawn 1 more card, you guaranteed to win the game. Because I've had that happen many times, and frankly, either you've had it happen many times or you've not played many games of the Pokemon TCG. Or you're that kind of person that doesn't look at the top card when they lose, when they were looking for something. I don't even know what to do about that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to handle that information. We all, when we're digging for a card and don't find it, we all look to see how long it would have taken to find that card. That's just how it works. This will get you 1 more card. Except it won't actually get you 1 more card, it will get you 2 more cards. Because you also get to discard an energy from your hand, which means you're then drawing an extra card because you've got 1 fewer card in hand. And yes, I know obviously there are going to be games where you don't want to discard the energy, or you can't discard the energy because you have to attach it, or you can't discard the energy because you don't have an energy in your hand. There are going to be those games, okay? Those games are going to happen. But in an energy-heavy deck, this is a no-brainer. There are still going to be games where Bibarel is better, and that's fine. But I also want to draw your attention to the regulation marks, because Bibarel has a regulation mark of F, and Revavroom has, I'm saying that name, I keep saying it wrong, but it kind of sounds like a car start, and I kind of love it. That's got a regulation mark of G. So it is going to last 1 extra year beyond Bibarel. And that is a pretty big deal as well. This is another card that I love it. And I can see this seeing just a huge amount of play. Also, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so please forgive me. But the Japanese name is Revavroom. I just think that's amazing. Because the Japanese name is also basically an engine starting. It's basically ba, ro, small gap, moo. And that makes me very, very happy. But there is 1 more card we need to have a little bit of a chat about before we finish here today. 1 more card, which I think could end up being just that little bit game-breaking, but not in a way that makes me happy, and this is why I've left it till the end. It's Wugtrio. And that was the point. It was actually when I fought the gym leader, when I got to the water gym. That is when I first saw Wugtrio. And when they revealed Wiglet, which was actually quite a bit before the official release of the game, that was one of the ones they revealed early, I was desperate for them to have an evolution called Wugtrio. And they did have an evolution called Wugtrio, and that makes me super duper 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 happy. But I'll tell you this card does not make me happy. Now, it's a stage 1. The good news is it's a free colorless energy, but it's flip 3 coins for each heads, discard 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. Yeah, that's 9 cards if you flip treble heads. That's ridiculous. Bearing in mind, up till now, we have seen legitimate success, actual success, with people using Durant. And Durant is, if you've got 4 Durant in play, discard 4 cards. And Durant has seen success milling 4 cards a turn. This can mill 9. Now, to be fair, you've got to have free energy on, which is a real pain. Although twin energy is rotating out, because this doesn't do damage, there's no real downside using double turbo energy with this, though you will need to get the third energy on, you'll need some kind of energy acceleration. But it's not the end of the world. And it is a stage 1 rather than a basic, but you only need to get 1 out, you don't need to swarm them, which is also a pretty big deal. But milling 9 cards, that's crazy. Now the good news is, there's no Glimwood Tangle. Having Glimwood Tangle with this would make me really sad. So you are going to have to try and flip. The thing is, although you will hit those turns of milling none, you'll mill 3 a lot. You'll mill 6 a bit, and sometimes you'll mill 9. And again, this is the kind of thing you can test. When you're playing a game with a Pokemon TCG, a friendly game, not in the middle of like a regional, look at the top 9 cards of your deck and imagine your opponent milled all 9 of those cards. It's not just, oh, well, 9 cards is a lot of your deck, that's getting you close to decking out, which is, of course, a win condition. If you can't draw a card at the start of your turn, you lose. It's also the case of, there aren't that many times you can lose 9 cards without your deck completely falling apart. You're going to be losing evolutions of your Pokemon. You're going to be losing energy that you need. I could keep going. You get the point. I don't like this personally, but yeah, if you're a mill player, this announcement's going to make you very happy. But I've showed you 7 new cards in this video, and I legitimately think all of these could be big. And maybe Maushold is a little bit too fragile. Maybe Annihilape's a stage 2, and that's not going to work. But I think these are really important cards. I wish I had the time and the schedule to just do 7 videos really going deeper on all of these cards. Can't do it, ladies and gentlemen. But hopefully you've watched this video and gone, oh wow, Wassie's got a point. These are big. But I want to know which ones you like. Houndstone for me. And I want to know which ones you're excited about. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord where we chat Pokemon, and anything else, to be honest. And you can get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Tobias Prato, who's been a supporter for a few months and seems to be a very lovely person. So thank you for all the support, and thank you for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio. See, I told you they were big.